What is going on, guys, and welcome to the official preview and prediction show on the MrWWEcam channel for the Royal Rumble 2017. What a show what a show it promises to be. A 30-man Royal Rumble match. John Cena versus AJ Styles, Owens versus Reigns, and much, much more. We're going to be delving into every single match, analysing the matches, the stories behind the matches, the hype for the matches, whether I think they're going to be good. We're also going to obviously begin my prediction on what I think the result of the match will be. Now, this video will be split up into massive chunks. Now, there'll be the big, long video where you'll get all the bits in between, where I'll be talking about what I think will be match of the night, what I think, just other stuff that I'll be talking about. But if you want to watch the individual match previews and analyses, if that's even a word, then they will be uploaded individually as well. So it's entirely up to you whether you watch it as a one video or whether you watch it in lots of videos. Now, I don't know how many matches are on the card, but I can imagine there's a few. So however many matches there are will be however many, we do. I just quickly need to send a tweet out. So let's get right in to the preview for the Royal Rumble. Where's it coming from? The Alamo Dome. 60,000. I did a Roman Reigns there. 60,000 people are going to be packed inside. It is going to be an incredible sight. You know, the attendance is absolutely huge. And I think WWE are going to want to put on a show for us. They're going to want to put in a few twists, a few turns. It's a wonderful venue. It really, really is. And yeah, this is going to be a stunning pay-per-view. If you don't know what day it starts, but it starts today, the 29th. So if you're watching this video after, you kind of missed it. But yeah, let's go through the whole of the match card. If I had to sum up the match card in general, I think it's a decent match card. I think it could have been better in certain areas. I would have made it better in certain areas with, different things. But at the moment, we've got 8 matches scheduled for tonight's show, but only 5 on the main show, which is ever so slightly strange. Now, I believe there's a 2-hour kickoff show and then a 4-hour show. That's what I believe. Now, I could be wrong with that. It could be a 2-hour kickoff show and a 3-hour show. God, not 5 hours. Jesus Christ. Can you just imagine? But yeah, the city, of course, is in San Antonio, Texas. If you wonder what the theme song is, it's Blow Your Mind by Uhana Bam. And what's the tagline? Remember the Rumble. How many times has Michael Cole said that in recent weeks? But let's get on to our first match of the night and our first preview and first match prediction. This is 2017. This is the Royal Rumble. At the end of the video, of course, we'll be previewing that big 30-man Royal Rumble match. But for now, let's go with what I believe will open the pre-show, that being Sasha Banks versus... Actually, before I say that, what I do want to just quickly talk about is what show I think will main event. It has to be the Royal Rumble match that main events this show. End of story. So yeah, let's get on to Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax. So here we are for the prediction and match preview and analysis for Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax. It's a feud that's... I don't necessarily got to the heights that it's necessarily could get to as of yet, but there's certainly a nice story to it, with Jax going after Banks' leg, and Banks now responding. We've seen some unique segments during this feud. We saw on Raw a very, very unique segment a couple of weeks ago when Sasha Banks was medically being cleared ringside with the doctors, and Jax came in and went after that leg again. And I just thought it was a unique way to tell this story. It's going to be I think it's going to be a good match. Now, I think a lot of people underestimate how good Nia Jax is in the ring. Look, she's not at an unbelievable level. She's not at the Bayley, the Sasha Banks, the Charlotte level yet, but she's a very, very good competitor. And I think a lot of people just look at her size and think, oh, well, she's not that good. But I can tell you, from some of the performances she used to put in NXT, she knows how to cut the mustard. She knows what she's doing in the ring. And Sasha Banks and Nia Jax, if given time, if they tell the right story, which I think they will do, will put on a very, very good match on the pre-show. And, kick the Royal Rumble off with a bang. I do expect Sasha Banks to get retribution due to the fact this match is on the pre-show, due to the fact that it will probably be opening the show. I expect it to go Sasha Banks' way, to get the crowd hot, to get the crowd excited. So my first prediction is Sasha Banks to win this match. If I had to give this storyline out of 5 a rating, I'm going to give it a solid 3. I think it's been okay. as I say, I think it's kind of in its midway through. You know, I don't think this will be the final encounter. I think we'll get another encounter, possibly at Fastlane, to end the feud. So maybe Nia Jax wins tonight, and Sasha Banks goes on and then gets Retribution. But for me, I'm going to change my prediction. I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm going to go for Nia Jax to win. I've completely changed my mind. I believe Nia Jax is going to win for this sole purpose. I think they'll have a rematch at Fastlane, but that's not just the reason. But it's because the way they've used this knee, Jax will beat Banks using the injured knee to kind of soften the blow of losing to Sasha Banks, and also giving Nia Jax a big pay-per-view win, granted on the pre-show, but a big pay-per-view win nonetheless. Now, where do these women stand in contention for the women's title at Raw's Women's Championship at WrestleMania? You have to say they're in and around it. Charlotte and Bayley, we'll talk about them a little bit later on, but now, we could see a rematch between them at WrestleMania, but you have to say, whoever wins this match and this feud, if it continues after tonight, has to be in pole position for a shot at that title at WrestleMania, or certainly has to be in contention. This is very much about getting yourself up the ladder in Raw's pecking order for the Women's Championship. Of course, at the moment, we've got Charlotte as a champ, Bayley as the number one contender, and Sasha Banks and Nia Jax on a level playing field. Well, whoever wins tonight is going to jump ahead of the other and actually get to that third spot for the women's title, which is very, very important as we head into WrestleMania season. Of course, all women, Sasha Banks, Nia Jax, Charlotte, Bayley, will all want to be in the WrestleMania match for that women's championship. And who knows, maybe a fatal 4-way is what beckons. But we will have to wait and see. But yeah, my prediction for the Sasha Banks, Nia Jax is Nia Jax winning. The match itself, I think, could be a good match. What's his chances of stealing the show? I think it's a solid 1 out of 10. I don't think Nia Jax and Sasha Banks is going to steal the show, but I do think it could be a very, very good match. So that is my prediction for Sasha Banks and Nia Jax completed. Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella and Naomi are facing Alexa Bliss, Mickie James and Natalya. So now it's time to do the full match preview, analysis prior to the match, and also prediction for this 6-women tag match. Smackdown Live's brand, they're not putting the title on the line, maybe because they've got one eye on Elimination Chamber in a couple of weeks' time, but which could be an Elimination Chamber match for the women's division, or for the women's title, not for the women's division. Jesus Christ, not Survivor Series. But I think Elimination Chamber would be a very, very good match to have the women in. I think it would sort of, because SmackDown's got to compete. I mean, Raw is using the stipulations for the women. They're doing the first ever this, the first ever that. They did the first ever Hell in a Cell. SmackDown did do a steel cage match, but it weren't the first ever women's steel cage match. But I believe it would be the first ever Elimination Chamber women's match. So I think they need to do it, and I think that's something that they'll be looking for in this match. Now, there's feuds have been kind of meshed together here, haven't they? We've obviously had the animosity between Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch that's been going on for months now. Bliss winning the title from Becky Lynch at TLC last year. Well, not literally, like when I say last year, it sounds like a year ago, which I suppose it is in technical terms. But only, a couple of months ago, or a month ago. Oh, I don't know. It was in December. My brain's not working properly. But now they've added the new thing into the mix, that being Mickie James. She's going to be making her return to a WWE pay-per-view for the first time in 7 years, I don't know, but for a long time, put it that way. So it's going to be nice to see her back in action. We've also seen Naomi kind of get in on the act. She's a little bit pissed off that she's been off telly for so long and kind of been the forgotten one in the SmackDown's division. She was at a scheduled match against Natalya, but Nikki Bella beat her up backstage basically before the match. She couldn't get to the ring. We'll talk about that in a minute. So Naomi came out and said, anybody who wants to come out, someone needs to challenge me, basically. Alexa Bliss came out, kind of took the piss out of Naomi for saying, well, actually, I've kind of forgotten your name. I don't know who you are, which was kind of funny and kind of not. I mean, I do like Naomi. I think the SmackDown division, just look at these 6 women, is very, very deep, whereas Raw's got 4 and that are, decent. And I'm sorry, I'm not classing Dana Brooke and Alicia Fox as decent, so don't even make me. And obviously, there's one person not in this match that's part of the SmackDown Women's Division, and that is Carmella. So what do I think of the Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, Mickie James shenanigans? I think the feud was a solid 3 out of 5. but I think it's with the inclusion of Mickie James, it's certainly gone up to a 3.5 to going on 4-star feud at the moment. I'm really, really enjoying it. And as I say, the new added kind of, mystery that is Mickie James. What is she going to do? Is she going to turn on, Alexa Bliss? Is she as close to Alexa Bliss as she makes us want to feel, Is she as close to Alexa Bliss as we think? I don't necessarily think so. I think that Mickie James may have an ulterior motive. She might be using Alexa Bliss to get into the picture, into the title picture, to be able to turn on Alexa Bliss and go to the title. But that's just my opinion. But she has made her intentions clear, or so her intentions seem. At least that's what she's trying to convince us, and that's that she's here because she's sick of the women's revolution pretending that they're the first women in WWE when they're actually not, according to Mickie James. And you can't really deny that. And Trish Stratus, Lita, Mickie James are all stunning women's superstars from the past. So I do get what she's actually saying, but it'll be interesting to see. I don't expect her to turn on Alexa Bliss tonight, but it's going to be interesting to see how this sort of three-way feud continues between Alexa Bliss, Mickie James and Becky Lynch. Whether Becky Lynch and Mickie James pair off and Alexa Bliss and Naomi go after something, I don't know. What this all means for WrestleMania. All these women are well and truly within touching distance, really, of the title. I think the only one I'd be completely shocked if they were to go and main event. Well, none, actually. All these 6 weeks, it could be anybody. The main event... or the main event in the Smackdown women's division for WrestleMania is tough to call. It's even tough to call who's actually going to be the champion. But this match, I think the faces win. There's been a lot of heels winning tag matches at the moment, like multi-man or women tag matches. But I'm going to go with WWE going back with what they always do and allowing Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella and Naomi to get the win. What about the Natalya versus Nikki Bella feud? I'm a bit gutted that they're not going to have a singles match. What I think they should have done, personally, is they could have done Becky Lynch and Naomi versus Alexa Bliss and Mickie James as a tag match, Natalya versus Nikki Bella in a singles match. Then what I'd have done was have this just has been a normal singles match. It would have just gone absolute carnage. Both got disqualified, and it would have led to a no disqualification match at Elimination Chamber, because it's ultimately what we want to see. There's been so much intensity and so much violence in this feud. We need violence in the match when they come together one-on-one. We will get it, don't worry. This has been a good feud. I'm going to give it a 3.5 star rating for the feud itself. What about this match stealing the show? A solid 0.5 out of 10. I don't see it stealing the show at all. But yeah, Nikki Bella, Natalya, I think it's been intriguing. I think it's been entertaining. I think it's been a great way to use Nikki Bella and Natalya. I do feel like Nikki Bella is going to win this feud eventually, probably at Elimination Chamber. But yeah, Natalya is certainly looking very, very good coming out of it. She's not great on the mic as Natalya, nor's Nikki Bella, but they're doing a good job to sell this feud, and you can really feel it feels real, and that's a good thing. And yeah, as I say, the women's feud doing very, 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 very well, and I think the SmackDown women's division is on fire at the moment. It is a little bit though disappointed, some would argue, SmackDown fans, that this match is on the pre-show, and the only women's match on the main show is Charlotte Flair versus Bayley. But yeah, that is my prediction for Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella and Naomi versus Alexa Bliss, Mickie James and Natalya. It's a win for the faces, a win for Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella and Naomi as the road to WrestleMania begins. Okay, so Cesaro and Sheamus take on Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson in a tag match for the Raw Tag Team Championships with 2 referees assigned to the match. Now, what that would suggest is there is going to be some serious shenanigans in this match. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a lover of these 2 referee things. I just think it can be a bit pathetic. Now, look, this feud, when it first started, I thought, it's not going to go anywhere. Nothing's going to happen with this. This is going to be poor. The club or Gallows and Anderson have been booked terribly. But since getting into this feud, they've started to be booked exactly how they should have been. They look like the dominant force they should be. They look like the tag team that we saw in Japan. The way they're now, they've gone away from that pathetic feud with the New Day and trying to be a comedy act and funny, with the whole balls thing, which was pathetic. I'm not blaming them, I'm blaming the writers. And they've gone back to being the serious Gallows and Anderson who want to beat people up and win titles. And that I like. And I think this feud's really got going. I think a couple of weeks ago we really saw it got going with a match for the championships, where it was a fantastic match. Sheamus punching the referee. Then Gallows and Anderson getting the victory, winning the championships, but only for the decision to be reversed and Cesaro and Sheamus to retain. We've seen matches between the three teams, but I really do like how this has been booked. I think as a story, I think it's a 3.5 storyline. I really do. I think the story's been very, very good. What's the chance of this match stealing the show? A 5 out of 10. I think it's unlikely, but I think it's more possible than the two we've already mentioned, because these could put on a very, very good tag match, and they could put on a stunning tag match. And that's the thing. We haven't seen, or I don't think we've seen on a pay-per-view, a really, really entertaining good tag match in a long, long time. And I know a lot of people will probably be like, Cameron, and you'll name somebody in the comment section below, but I think we're missing a real top tag match. I want to see a WWE main roster tag match in a match of the year. I want to see that. I want to see it in contention, because the tag team division needs to prove that they can put on world-class matches, and they can. They just now need to prove it. Who do I think is going to win? I really, really hope Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson win and finally get their hands on a title that I think they should have won months and months ago, and then they can propel their way up and continue to repair the momentum that was lost due to the way that they were booked through the summer. But for me, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson are going to be my predictions. They are what I want. I like the team of Cesaro and Sheamus. I think they mesh absolutely fantastic together. You've still got the wonderful opportunity to having Cesaro and Sheamus go at it again when they break up, because their feud, some would argue, never really finished. But yeah, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson winning, another rematch that we get perhaps at Fastlane or even on Raw tomorrow night, I think would be very, very good. I think this match will be a very good tag match and one of the best we've seen on pay-per-view for a very, very long time. As I say, the story, top quality, hype for this match up there, 3.5 for the story, and I say 5 out of 10 chance of, 5 out of... Why am I rating it 5 out of 10? I kind of, if you got what I mean, I don't know how to explain that. When I say the ratings for how likely I think it is to steal the show, I don't mean it's got a 50% chance. I should really do percentages, so I'll start doing percentages. As I say, I think Sasha Banks, Nia Jax, 5% chance of stealing the show. Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Mickie James and Natalya, 5% chance. This match, 20% chance perhaps of stealing the show. Very, very unlikely. And before everybody adds up the percentages, I'm not doing it like that. So yeah, 20% chance, unlikely that this will steal the show. So yeah, Cesaro and Sheamus versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson for the tag team championships. I think we see new champions at the Royal Rumble, and that may well be a trend we see continue. So it's time to preview and predict Rich Swann versus Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship. Of course, Swann the champion, Neville the challenger. Neville, new to the Cruiserweights division, but since he's been on the Cruiserweights division and since he's had that heel turn, he has looked like a dominant force that ultimately looks unbeatable. And I think that will stay the same at the Royal Rumble, and we will get another title change, that being Neville becoming the new champion of the Cruiserweights and the king of the Cruiserweight division, as Neville so rightly says. And maybe we won't see a red arrow, but I can imagine us seeing his new finishing submission being used. This story, look, the Cruiserweight division has been largely a complete letdown. I was so looking forward to it when it was announced post-brand split. You know, I thought this is going to be great. This is really going to give Raw that unique feel. But it's been booked very, very badly. The only positive thing from it has been this recent Neville resurgence and the way he's reinvented himself and rejuvenated his career in the Cruiserweight division. And hopefully that continues with a win against Rich Swann, who I think has been a decent champion, but nothing too special. The story's been okay. 3 out of 5 stars for me. At times it's been very, very good, but just because I'm not really invested in the Cruiserweights as a division, of course this is never going to be a 5 out of 5 star feud. This match could be very, very good if given time. That's a big thing with Cruiserweights. I think they would be entertaining, they would be intriguing if they were given the time on Raw. Then that might intrigue me enough to actually even watch 205 Live, which I haven't even watched yet. I don't watch 205 Live. Number one, I don't have the time, and number two, I'm just not really interested enough in the Cruiserweight division. But I am interested in Rich Swann and versus Neville, and I'm also interested in Neville as well. And as I say, as a fellow Brit, it's nice to see, or it'd be nice to see him with a championship. I think he thoroughly deserves it. An amazing in-ring competitor, and it's a shame they didn't use him properly while he was in the main roster, in the main sort of title push and that. And it is a shame, it is a crying shame, but who knows, maybe he can go back there, maybe in a year or so's time, and get to where he deserves. Because I do believe Neville has the capability of being a main event caliber superstar if, booked correctly and if given the time to shine. Because when Neville really excels is in the ring. But what he's showing with this heel side to him, he's also not a bad talker and he's also not a bad character, and he's a very, very good heel. I think most people in the crowd would be rooting for Neville, if I'm honest. Not that Rich Swann's a nasty guy or a bad face. It's just the fact that people like Neville. They like him as a heel. They like the fact that this is clicked. And yeah, I think they're going to want to see him the champ. I really do. And hopefully what we can see after the Royal Rumble and on the road to WrestleMania is the Cruiserweight division being booked the way it should have been booked from the start. Given time on Raw, given meaningful storylines, building up the superstars, us actually developing, or sorry, not us developing characters, WWE developing the characters in the Cruiserweight division and making us care about watching the Cruiserweights. Hopefully that happens, and I think if Rich Swann and Neville put on a stunning match, which I think they've got the ability to do, again, I give this about a 20% chance of stealing the show, then I genuinely believe that, that this could be the start for the Cruiserweights really developing into a decent division that we know it can be. So for me, the winner of Rich Swann and Neville is comfortably Neville. Okay, time to predict and preview Charlotte Flair versus Bayley. Charlotte's streak at pay-per-views, will it come to the end? The streak like no other. The best streak in WWE, bar none. Undertaker, I'm sorry, your 21-year WrestleMania streak, it is nothing in comparison to Charlotte Flair's pay-per-view streak. Look, jokes aside, it has been an incredible streak. Will it end in front of 60,000 people in the Alamodome for the Royal Rumble, or will they leave it for WrestleMania? I believe they'll leave it to WrestleMania. Now, this feud promised so much, and I believe it's yet to get going. It's still been okay, 3 out of 5 stars again, but it's yet to really get going. I think we've seen a couple of goofy segments between these two, but I liked what they did on Raw with the sit-down interviews. I always think that hypes up the match. I always think that's a good thing to do. I think they should use that much, much more, WWE. And yeah, I think that advances stuff much, much more than having perhaps a verbal altercation, especially with Charlotte and Bayley. Charlotte being hit and miss on the mic and Bayley not being too good at all. But yeah, the lovable babyface that is Bayley, will she be able to dethrone the queen that is Charlotte? My answer is no. I don't think she will. Now, this could be a very, very good match. Again, should be a very, very good match. Lacks the story, therefore I think it lacks the ability to steal the show. Again, I'm going to give it this time probably about a 15% chance of stealing the show. No stipulation, just a singles match. Whether we see other interference with maybe Dana Brooke, Nia Jax, Sasha Banks, who knows. But I do expect Charlotte Flair to win, and I do expect it to be clean. Clean in a sense. Clean in a sense and not clean in other sense. I think Bayley will be victimised, brutalised by Charlotte. She'll use some sort of cheat tactics in the beginning in regards to, maybe a few rakes to the eyes, etc. She'll be the heel, and you'll feel sorry for Bayley. She'll have a little comeback towards the end, but ultimately Charlotte will do enough to beat her, and Bayley will look like the lovable babyface that she is in the ring, with everybody wanting to see her dethrone Charlotte. But I don't think it's going to happen at the Rumble. I expect them to hold off for that big, big moment at the Royal Rumble. I mean, for WrestleMania, sorry. I would even argue that maybe Bayley, they just need to hold off even more. I think the way you make this such a great story, look at Daniel Bryan. Hold it off, and hold it off. Don't do it too early. And I think maybe WrestleMania is too early. Who's going to beat Charlotte's pay-per-view streak? I don't know. Is this pay-per-view streak a little bit pointless? Yes and no. I mean, it does give intrigue. It is quite remarkable that Charlotte just turns it on. She's a big-time player when the pay-per-view happens, when the main event happens. Will we see Ric Flair get involved in this match? Very, very unlikely. But yeah, this should be a decent match. As I say, I think the fact it's Charlotte versus Bayley is the reason why I'm excited for the match, not because of the story, which is a shame, because if they meshed the two together, and if both were fantastic, as Charlotte and Bayley on paper is fantastic, if the story was there as well, then this would be a real exciting match, and one that we can all look forward to and be proper hyped for. As it is, I'm not that hyped for it, other than the fact that it's Charlotte and Bayley squaring off at pay-per-view for the Women's Championship, which is a big deal. Charlotte to win against Bayley for the Raw Women's Championship. So that's the first championship that I've said so far that's actually going to be retained at the show. So maybe it's going to be a show of title changes. Moving on to another title match. Yeah, next up, make sure you check the video out. Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns. If you're watching the big long video, which I would probably advise, but it's too late now for me to revise that, then yeah, that's what we're going to get onto next. Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns is a no disqualification match for the WWE Universal Championship. Chris Jericho suspended in a shark cage above the ring. What is that no disqualification match stipulation? How does that influence this match? Well, we're talking a little bit about that in a minute. And how does the shark cage, which Jericho will be suspended in above the ring, affect the match? Other than the fact that WWE want to sell their playset a little bit more. Again, we'll be talking about that a little bit more. But first, let's talk about the feud, the story that is Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns. I think it's outstayed its welcome. I think that's safe to say. I think nobody was really that hyped when Reigns got a title shot to begin with. I don't think a lot of people felt he deserved it. Nobody really wanted to see him in the main event again. And yeah, the fact he keeps getting chance after chance after chance, and yes, it's been screwy finishes, but same sort of, you know what I mean? He's still getting a chance. People don't want Roman Reigns in the main event. They've made that quite clear. They were quite content with him holding the United States Championship until he decided to do nothing with it and focus more on the Universal Championship. This feud, as I say, the only great thing about it has been the chemistry between Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, which has made the thing at least watchable. But I'm not invested in this match. I'll tell you the only reason I'm invested in it is because of my hatred and fear that Roman Reigns is going to win this match in main event WrestleMania again, which will absolutely irritate the hell out of me and could quite possibly put me in a bad mood for the rest of the show. Now, WWE needs to be careful. If they are genuinely going to allow Roman Reigns to win this championship, they need to put this match in the right order. It has to be before Styles versus Cena and the Royal Rumble match, so that Styles and Cena can put on an unbelievable show, win the crowd bloody back, and then the Rumble match can commence, and again, win the crowd back. By that point, we've kind of forgotten about Roman Reigns. Because if you do this match, they're not going to main event it, but if you do it after Styles Cena, I kid you not, people are going to shit on the Royal Rumble match. It's going to happen. Even though you got Undertaker, Lesnar, I genuinely fear that. They've got to put this in the right order. They've got to make sure they don't, cock this up. In my opinion, they've got to make sure they don't actually give the title to Roman Reigns, because again, nobody wants to actually see that. I'm okay with Strowman versus Reigns. Hell, I want Chris Jericho to win the Royal Rumble, and I want Chris Jericho to then face Kevin Owens. This has huge implications. Reigns defeats Owens. Jericho's never going to win the championship. And you can kind of cancel out, well, I mean, Finn Balor, I suppose, could main event, but you can kind of forget Lesnar winning it, because they won't do the same match twice. If Kevin Owens wins, all bets are still open. Anything can happen, because literally Jericho could win, Goldberg could win, Lesnar could win, Undertaker could win face Owens, Strowman. I mean, honestly, everything is still open. If Reigns defeats Kevin Owens, Strowman, who at the moment's in that kind of pack of, has a chance of winning the Rumble, but isn't really a big time player, he's not my kind of in my top 5 prediction wise. If Reigns defeats Owens, Strowman becomes a favourite to win the Rumble. In my opinion, he becomes top 3 to win the Royal Rumble. That's how important it is. If Owens wins, Strowman Owens, they're not going to do that. So I think he then stays in that middle section. But mark my words, Roman Reigns wins the friggin' match, which I think is going to happen. That's my prediction. Trust me when I say this, Strowman could actually genuinely win the Rumble. In fact, I think he probably would. Which kind of is going to contradict my prediction at the end, but at the same time, you got to keep yourself open. I'm tactically thinking about how I'm predicting this because I want to get the most right, and I don't want to go all in on Reigns winning the Universal title and then Strowman winning, because then, if you get what I mean, if Kevin Owens does actually win, then both predictions are going to be wrong. Whereas if I predict Reigns and Kevin Owens wins, I've still got the chance in the Royal Rumble match, if you know what I mean. I'm being tactical because I don't know, I'm like, well, I will predict against people. But yeah, anyway, it's completely gone off topic. What's his story been? 2 out of 5. I don't think it's been good. The actual Kevin Owens Roman Reigns story. What's been entertaining in this is the Kevin Owens Chris Jericho story that's developing and slowly building to a conclusion that we'll get at WrestleMania. Please, for the Universal title. But not the Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns thing. Why is Chris Jericho suspended in the shark cage? No one knows. Storyline wise, it's because of the playset and WWE want to sell it. Do I think it's a bit pathetic? Yes. Do I think anybody cares about the fact that Chris Jericho's going to be in a shark cage? Well, yeah, because that means that it increases Roman Reigns' chance of winning this match. What I want to see, Owens wins this match on his freaking own, because this guy's awesome. Kevin Owens defeated John Cena clean at Money in the Bank a year ago. This is a guy who defeated John Cena clean, for crying out loud. Let him beat your Superman, Super Reigns clean, please. He hasn't had enough clean wins for the title since he's won it. And Owens' feud, if it ends tonight, will go down as a disappointment. Not because of Owens, but because of the way he's been booked. And the WWE have a serious problem at the moment of knowing how to book their champions. They keep getting it wrong. Every time somebody becomes a champion, they cock it up. The only one they've successfully booked recently is AJ Styles. Everybody else they seem to mess up. Even the simple face champions, they seem to bugger it up and not know how to book a face champ. They don't know how to book a heel champ other than just have them lose to win, either, win by, shenanigans and screwy finishes. The only way they know how to do it. Now, what is this no disqualification match? This is the only real kind of question mark in this match, which kind of makes me think I have no idea. Now, without the no disqualification part, I think it's an easy Roman Reigns win. With the no disqualification part, it makes me think something could happen. Whoever Reigns' opponent is at WrestleMania could come and screw him out of it. Jericho could somehow get to the shark cage. And I know what you're thinking, Karen. That's just literally the most retarded thing I've ever heard in my life. But this is WWE. Stuff like that could actually happen. The no disqualification does add an element of, intrigue to this match. And kind of a bit of a God, what's going to happen here? I honestly don't know. So that's the only bit that's kind of fogging me off at the moment. I don't that's why I'm not 100% that Roman Reigns is going to win, as I was, although I'm pretty sure. He is my prediction. No disqualification, I think that gives it another. I think it needed it, because another single match between Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, nobody's remotely going to be interested. I think the fans actually won't. Well, I don't think they'll boo it because Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens are there, but I think they'll boo any Roman Reigns offense. I think that'll probably happen anyway. But the no disqualification part adds that intensity, that violence to the match that it probably needs to make it a decent main event caliber match. But its chance to steal the show, again, if Reigns wins, I don't think it steals the show. Even if it's a great match, people just won't look at it as a great match because of the ending. If Kevin Owens wins, I think it has about a 40% chance of stealing the show. Still quite low. I still don't expect it to steal the show. But it's impossible really to say how much I expect something to steal the show, because I don't. 40% is like, well, if you did this show 10 times, 4 out of 10 it would steal the show, which I don't actually think is correct. But basically what I'm saying is I don't expect it to steal the show, but it's got a chance. A decent chance to steal the show, but I don't expect it. I suppose that is kind of 40% in it. Anyway, so yeah, my prediction for Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns, which I think the story's been poor, is a Kevin Owens victory. No, what am I saying? Roman Reigns victory, and he wins the Universal title, which would make it, before we talk about Styles Cena, 1, 2, 3 out of 4 championships changing hands. That makes me think Gallows and Anderson aren't actually going to win. But anyway, let's move on to Styles versus Cena. So the Styles versus John Cena match, singles match for the WWE Championship. Styles Cena going off in action again. And if their SummerSlam match is anything to go by, this is going to be good. I've been talking about percentages on how much I think the match has a chance of stealing the show. I don't want to bet my life on it, but I'd bet a lot of money, put it this way, that AJ Styles John Cena steals the show. I think he's got an 80% chance, which I know 80 plus 40 is 120 to make sense, but I don't really know how to say it. I think really, if I'm honest, this is going to steal the show. I think there's Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns has a chance, and the Royal Rumble match has a chance, a little bit of bigger chance. But I honestly think Styles Cena, they'll 100% steal the show. I'm not going to say 100%. It can't be 100% about anything. I'm going to go 80%. The only thing that I worry about is the fact that we've seen him in action a couple of times again. And although there's been a nice gap, and I think that will solve this problem, will it feel repetitive? I don't think so. Again, because Styles and Cena are such unique athletes, they'll bring unique offense. It will feel like a different match. It will probably have a different pace to it. So I'm not actually that worried about it, if I'm honest. But I know they're the only things in the back of my mind that I'm thinking, but I don't think there'll be a problem. Now, this match as a spectacle will be something very, very insane. And you have the added element. So yeah, the added element, along with the WWE Championship, is of course the fact Cena could tie Ric Flair's record for the most World Championships in WWE at 16. Now, any other Royal Rumble? I'd say, no, they're going to leave it till WrestleMania. The reason I think they won't, 60,000 inside the Alamodome. This Royal Rumble is huge. This Royal Rumble event is huge for a few reasons. 1, Goldberg, Lesnar, Undertaker, they're in the Rumble match. 2, John Cena will tie Ric Flair's record and Styles' reign as champ, which has been a superb reign, and Styles is just freaking superb. It's coming to an end. It's as simple as that. I genuinely believe Cena's going to walk away with the championship, which make it far. I mean, so many title changes, which some will argue that's never going to happen, Cameron. So expect a couple of the other ones that I spoke about. Maybe the. See, this is the thing. I don't think they'll have both titles change hands. You know, Owens and Reigns, and Styles and Cena. If Cena wins, Owens wins. If Reigns wins, Styles wins. I genuinely think that's what's going to happen. I'd be shocked if it's any other way. What the most shocking thing for me would be if Kevin Owens and AJ Styles both won. That would be a complete shock to me. Who do I want to win? It's difficult because I don't mind Cena tying Ric Flair's record. It's going to happen. I don't mind it being at the Royal Rumble. I think that would be a nice way to do it. Yes, kind of probably is a WrestleMania moment. But at the same time, some would argue him beating Ric Flair's record is a WrestleMania moment. If they're actually going to go and do that, which could be in a year or so's time. At the same time, if Undertaker then wins the Rumble, which is not necessarily my prediction, we'll talk about it a little bit more. But, you know, if Undertaker's the only realistic one on the Smackdown division that I think stands a chance, Cena's Undertaker's very intriguing. If Styles wins and Undertaker wins the Rumble, Styles Undertaker's very, very intriguing. So I'm not that fussed, put it that way. I don't know. I genuinely am split. My prediction is Cena wins. Again, I'm doing that thing where I'm going all in. I'm going to go... Well, I'm not going all in. I'm playing safe with my predictions. Because I'm having Reigns and Cena both to win the championship, which I know isn't definitely going to happen. Both of them aren't going to happen, but one will. So I know I've got one prediction right at least. So yeah, I think Cena wins the title. In fact, I actually do think Cena, and I'm going to contradict myself again. I've done that so many times. I think Reigns and Cena are both going to win the championships. I think this is going to be a night of title changes. I really do. What's his story been like? I mean, it's been exquisite, isn't it? From start to finish, it's been the best feud. It was the best feud of last year, and it's kicking off this year. 4.5 out of 4.5 out of 5. You know, I can't give it a 5 out of 5, but I give it a 4.5 out of 5. If this match is superb, if this match is better than their SummerSlam match, which I believe it to be, then this feud will be a 5 out of 5 star. You know, the segment we saw on SmackDown, Cena hit the nail on the head. Or hit, you know, just literally hit home runs with what he was saying. Styles has done in the past as well. The realness that this feud feels, the way Styles is talking and uttering the sentiments that a lot of people have been saying for many, many years about John Cena, and Cena, you know, saying a lot of the stuff that some people say about the Indies guys. You know, so it's one of those things. It's two titans. It's a dream match that if you'd have told me 2 years ago we'd have been seeing, I'd have told you it's never going to happen. Let alone the fact that it's now happening again, and that is not a bad thing. This is going to be a great match. This is going to steal the show, and I believe John Cena is going to tie Ric Flair's record and win his 16th championship, and head to Elimination Chamber as the champion, and head to WrestleMania as the champ. What a feud. What a storyline. What a match this beckons to be. I cannot wait for this match. And even if everything else on this show is going to be is shit, this will be incredible. And it could be the rest won't be shit. But honestly, I'm probably gonna pay for Royal Rumble 20 quid on box office just so I don't have to worry about my internet connection and I can just enjoy the show. And just for Stars and Cena, it's worth that money. Forget the Rumble, forget everything else. Just to see them in action again, one-on-one, for the title this time, is enough for me. That's enough. You know, it's going to be great. And it's going to, this is the first pay-per-view of the year. And this is going to be a match that at the end of the year we'll be talking about as match of the year. Put it that way. So yeah, my prediction for that, AJ Styles John Cena match is Cena to tie Ric Flair's record and to win his 16th championship. So finally, we've got the big one. The 2017 Royal Rumble match. This is what it's all about. Hell, the pay-per-view is named for this match. This match is the pay-per-view. Some people call this show a one-match show often. Granted, not this year as Styles and Cena, but it is going to be a very, very good Rumble. It is and I know they keep saying this on telly, but it's true. It is the most stacked Royal Rumble card in history. It could not get much more stacked than this. Let's go through the competitors, the 22 out of 30 that have been announced. Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Big E, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, Chris Jericho, Braun Strowman, Baron Corbin, The Undertaker, Dean Ambrose, The Miz, Dolph Ziggler, Cesaro, Sheamus, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, Luke Harper, The Big Show, Sami Zayn, Big Cass, Rusev, and Mojo Rawley. So there's 8 people left. Okay, 8 people left. Who could be the surprises? Couple of NXT people. I'm going to spoil NXT TakeOver, so if you haven't watched it and you're going to watch it, skip sort of the next 30 seconds. Yeah, I'm going to spoil it in 3, 2, 1. Nakamura dropped the title, folks. He could be in the Rumble. That opens it up for him. It really, really does. So we could see Nakamura, Joe, Ty Dillinger. I think Nakamura, who was unlikely, due to what happened at TakeOver, is now likely. That was unlikely, it's now become likely. And I'd love to see it. I'd love to see Joe Nakamura in the Final Blade too. Can you just imagine? Holy shit. That would just be fucking insane. That would be for NXT fans just an incredible moment. I think for wrestling fans in general. I think for the hardcore wrestling fans, that would be a moment. Seeing them two vying for that spot, vying to win the Royal Rumble match head to WrestleMania. After all that happened over in NXT, that would just be amazing. But anyway, so it could. I think it'll be 2 of them 3. I think it'll be Dillinger and one of the other 2. I'm going to go Joe. I think we'll get a couple of cruiserweights. Probably the champ, which I believe will be Neville at the time. Possibly Brian Kendrick or TJ Perkins. I think we'll get Tyler Bate. I think we'll get some sort of legend return. I'd love it to be Kurt Angle. I don't think it will happen, but I'd love it to be. And these are just completely off my head. I've not read anything, so don't think I'm spoiling anything. Trust me. I'd love to then see a couple of debut stroke returns. So re-returns from a long, long time ago, where I'm talking about... I have no idea whether any of these are possible. MVP, Johnny Mundo, John Morrison. I'd love to see that. Shelton Benjamin. I don't think he's cleared. Finn Balor. I don't know. If I had to predict surprise entrance... I'm not going to predict surprise entrance. I'm just not even going to try because I'd get it wrong and it'd be embarrassing. But yeah, there's 8 things left, and that's quite a nice amount to manoeuvre. If I had it my way, I would not have any cruiserweights come in. Possibly just Neville at the push. 2 NXTs. UK champion Tyler Bate. And then leave 4. Whether you have then Balor and 3 others with a legend and perhaps 2 returning people. Or whether you have, if Balor's not fit, a couple of legends and a couple of returning people. You know, I know legends are returning, but you know what I mean? When I say returning people, I mean people that are going to come back and they're going to stay. The Hardy Boys perhaps could come back. I don't know. That would be a moment that would get everybody bloody completely and utterly hyped. Again, I don't know the likely and the possibilities of that. There's a lot of options. Carlito. I mean, he was rumoured to come back at the brand split, never did. I'd like to see Wade Barrett come back. I know he left only a short time ago. Same with Cody Rhodes. Again, I think that's highly unlikely. But, yeah, no, there's lots of options. Rey Mysterio. Again, I don't know how likely or unlikely any of these are. But there's a lot of possibilities. And some, of course, I will lose my shit. I'll lose my shit out of any of the ones I've just named. If they happen. You know, I'd lose my shit if Alberto Del Rio came back again. Because that's just the sort of person I am. I do like Alberto Del Rio. But yeah, we went tits out with him, didn't it? Let's be honest. So yeah, no, this should be. I don't think Kane's been announced yet. So expect Kane to be in the match. That'll probably be one of the surprise returns, which will be about as surprising as anything. So perhaps there's only going to be 23, which is kind of makes it like 7 extras, which kind of makes it easier. 2 NXT, 1 Cruiserweight, Tyler Bate, and 3 others. I think that's probably easier, isn't it? So that's probably what I think will happen. But that's just me talking about surprise entrants. That's always the exciting thing about the Rumble, isn't it? You know, predicting who's going to be those surprise entrants, predicting who you think, you know, trying to make those predictions. It's one of those things you always look forward to, that number counting down, and just knowing that as that number is counting down, you could be about to witness what is an incredible moment. We saw one last year with AJ Styles. You know, hell, it was heavily rumoured. I think most people knew he was coming, but even still, it was still one of the best moments of the year. So yeah, expect another couple of moments like that. You know, they have announced the Goldbergs and the Brock Lesnars and the Undertakers for this match, but expect some surprise entrances. It wouldn't be the Royal Rumble without them. So yeah, no, expect a couple of surprises and expect 1 or 2 to shock you. And what I'd advise, if you really want these to be surprises, if you really want these to be completely and utterly entertaining, is make sure you stay off the rumour sites. Make sure you don't, you know, look at any sort of spoilers, etc. Because ultimately the moment will just be spoiled a little bit. And yes, it will still be fantastic. And yes, spoilers and rumours are what they are. They're rumours and spoilers, and they often get them wrong. I'm going to avoid them because I think that's a lot better to avoid this sort of stuff for me personally. But let's just go through. There's kind of different categories, you know, on the Rumble. I think there's kind of 3 categories. Stands no chance of winning the Rumble. We'll go through them. Big E, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, Ziggler, Cesaro, Sheamus, Luke Harper, Big Show, Big Cass, Rusev, Mojo Rawley. They're in the category of stands no chance. You then have the maybe category. And that's the, you know, the kind of would be a shock, but, you know, has a chance, if you see what I'm saying. A lot of things have got to go their way. Chris Jericho, Braun Strowman. Now, we spoke about them earlier. Owens wins the title. Chris Jericho's chance to win the Rumble shoots up, and he goes into the next category, which we'll talk about in a minute. Strowman, likewise, but different in some respects. It's, for him, if Reigns wins the title, Strowman goes into that top category. And Jericho stands no chance. But they're in the middle category. Corbin's in the middle category. Ambrose, Miz is in the middle category. Ziggler is kind of in the middle, straight bottom category. Wyatt and Orton, middle category. And I probably said Zayn for the bottom category. I'll stick him in the bottom category if I didn't say it. Then you got the favourites. Goldberg, Lesnar, Undertaker. And obviously add in Y2J or Braun Strowman, depending on the result of Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns. Plus Finn Balor, who could make a return. I'm not spoiling anything, folks. I have heard nothing. I don't know whether he's cleared. I have no idea. Literally, I have no idea. If Finn Balor returns, he'll win. Triple H could return in this Rumble. And Seth could come out and cost it. I mean, the possibilities are endless. My prediction to win the Rumble is Undertaker. I think he has to be the favourite. Lesnar and Goldberg stand a chance. Jericho or Strowman. I think Strowman is a good bet. I do genuinely believe this. I think Strowman's a good bet. I'm sticking with The Undertaker, but for me, if Strowman wins the Rumble, I would not be surprised at all. Because I think Reigns will win the title, and I think then Strowman, you have to regard Strowman then as the favourite. As that match, if I was to say Strowman to win the Rumble, that would mean that I'm banking on Reigns to win the thing, which is, yes, I think it's going to happen, but I'm not 100% sure. Where it is at the moment, that being that Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns are facing each other, but we don't know the result of that match yet. For me, my prediction remains The Undertaker. Now, if Reigns wins, I change it to Strowman. Now, I'm not going to change it. This is my prediction before show, but I will then say I think Strowman will win. Sticking with The Undertaker for now. But yes, Strowman stands a big chance. Much the same as if Kevin Owens wins, Y2J stands a huge, huge chance. Think about some of the stare downs we could see. Corbin, Undertaker, Undertaker, Ambrose, Undertaker, Strowman, Undertaker, Jericho, Undertaker, Lesnar, Undertaker, Goldberg, Goldberg, Lesnar, Goldberg, Jericho, Goldberg. I mean, honestly, it is just unbelievable. I could sit here all day going through it. Orton, Undertaker, Orton, Goldberg, Bray Wyatt, Goldberg. I mean, I'm deadly serious. I would love to see that. Sami Zayn, Undertaker. I mean, honest to God, there could be. I mean, we are not going to get all of them because it's just going to be impossible. I think with the fact that it's so stacked, I think that's why they've added in the Mojo Rawleys and stuff like that, is so that they can have a few quick eliminations. Because at the moment, bar Xavier Woods and Mojo Rawley, every elimination is going to be a pretty big deal. Even like Big E and Kofi Kingston, they're not your jobbers. They're not the ones you expect to get eliminated quickly. Rusev's and Big Cassis. Who do I think opens it? I have a little theory that I think would absolutely rock the Alamodome. How the fuck you'd book the match after, I have no idea. Entrant number 1, Brock Lesnar. Entrant number 2, Goldberg. Can you just imagine it? I mean, number 1, can you imagine the crowd for Lesnar being number friggin' 1? I mean, coming out of number 1. Can you just imagine it? The crowd will go nuts. As he's standing in the ring, Heyman's sitting there, he says something, I don't know, whoever it is, we ain't scared because Lesnar's just going to eliminate you, and he's going to, he does that elimination repeat bullshit, which is, I find entertaining. And then bang, Goldberg's freaking music hits, and we have Goldberg versus Lesnar as the first entrant, and then hell, get Undertaker out as number 3. Admittedly, then you are putting your eggs in one basket straight away, and you're expecting Goldberg and Lesnar to last most of the Rumble, unless they just destroyed each other at the start. But who do I expect to come out number 1? Sami Zayn. I think he's got number 1 written all over him. I think he survives for a long, long time. Who else could do that job? Strowman coming out early, just because I think they're going to... Excuse me, I think Reigns' record for most eliminations is 100% at risk with Strowman. I think Strowman will... 410% sure. This I guarantee. He will, without shadow of a doubt, get the most eliminations. 100%. Who's going to be eliminated the most quick in this match? Mojo Rawley, 100%. So yeah, I mean, there's all them little things as well. But yeah, this is going to be incredible. My prediction for the Final 4. I'm going to do Final 4. Undertaker. Samoa Joe. Now that's one that I think a lot of people are going to go, what the hell? Jericho. And Braun Strowman. They're my Final 4. Granted, I've left out Goldberg and Lesnar, but I think they'll have destroyed each other by then. What I think with Goldberg and Lesnar is going to happen, I think probably Lesnar will eliminate Goldberg, or Goldberg will eliminate Lesnar, it doesn't really matter, and the other one will come in and fucking end up eliminating that one. I expect that to happen. I expect shit to go on between Bray Wyatt and Orton, and certainly Harper, but I expect something big to go on with the Wyatt family, and I do expect to see the start of the breakup for the New Day. And I believe it will probably be Big E eliminating Kofi or Xavier. Expect to see that happen. So yeah, I expect to see that sort of stuff happening. 100% we'll see a Big Show versus Braun Strowman. altercation in this match. 100% Lesnar and Undertaker are coming face to face, and 110 friggin' million % Lesnar and Goldberg are gonna. I mean, if they honestly keep Goldberg, Lesnar, and Undertaker apart, that would just be the biggest load of bullshit in the fucking world. But yeah, my final four: Undertaker, Strowman, Jericho, and Samoa Joe. At least I think that's what I said. Winner of the Rumble, The Undertaker. It is simple as that. What a Royal Rumble event this beckons to be. I'm going to be laid up. You know what? There's no way I'm sleeping. If there's one match that could not put me to sleep, even if it's the crappiest Rumble ever, it is the Royal Rumble match. Honestly, it's the one show, even if I'm watching it at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm still glued to that telly. It's going to be entertaining. The show's going to be incredible. Thank you so much for watching this full preview. I've got to have a shower, get myself ready, because I've got people coming over for the Royal Rumble. I'm going to get this video out as well. I hope you're going to enjoy it when it goes out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and I'll see you for a review for the 2016 Royal Rumble match. And if you missed my thing regarding my 5 superstars who should win the Rumble, make sure you go check that out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and I will see you next time.